work is not valuable, that you don't really make money from work, but you get money from money. So this is a very illusory and inverted idea. And this caused the majority of the problems that we are facing in the moment. And we are very lucky that this pseudo-economy is showing its false foundations. So we now are in time to fix it.
I've never heard the economic crisis being described as a liberation before. That is a new thing for me, and beautiful.
Yeah, so I encourage very much people to speak about this, because now we have a chance to understand better how the true economy works and how a beautiful, truthful work for the true society can start right now. But I'm anxious to hear about our listeners.
Yeah, me too. We'll get back to this in a minute. So, Dawn, you can put the caller on the line. Who's there for us today?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, this is your friend Susan in New York.
Hello, Susan in New York.
Hello, Susan. How are you?
Wonderful. Congratulations. You sound terrific, to both of you. And
Great. Thank you, Susan.
Oh, sure. Well, I have a question for Dr. Claudia. And it's about young people. The other day I was at a dinner party, and I was speaking with the people that were there. They were very, they were professionals. There were several doctors there, and so these were people that were of a high level. And they were talking about their children. And do you know that every single one of them, they had children in their 20s. Some were in college, some were just out of college. And these kids were still living at home. They they seemed unable to go out into the world to find work, or if they were working at low-paying jobs, and the parents were subsidizing them. And several of them were complaining that their children were the reason was because their children were suffering from ADD, which is attention deficit disorder, and were taking medication. And it seems that not just in this group, but around, there are so many kids that are still living at home after college. This was not the case when I left home at 17, and I never wanted to come back. And I was wondering if Dr. Claudia could comment on that, because I'm very worried about the state of our country if the young people can't even go out there and fend for themselves. They seem so dependent. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, Susan. And it seems that this is a worldwide problem. Here in Brazil, we are perceiving the same thing happening. And from my understanding and reading Dr. Keppe's writings about this situation, I think that this is a result of a wrong understanding about freedom and the wrong use of freedom of humanity. And Susan, this started mostly with the increase, the power of psychology in the world, and how education was influenced by the wrong concept of psychology, thinking that if you repress, if you frustrate a child, a youngster, in their wishes, their desires, we would deform their personality. We would cause complexes and psychosis, neuroses, frustrations, and this would not be good for their development. We can understand that a society too much censored or repressive, prohibitive, is not good as well. But this other way, or the other side of the coin, where you leave all the wishes, the desires, the impulses of a child in freedom. So this will bring these difficulties, because we are not free. Human beings are not free to do whatever they wish. Our wishes, many of them, are a result of our inverted will, of upside-down will. So if we do everything we want, we will destroy our health, our development, our society, as we are doing in reality. So this generation is a result of the influence of psychology in education, in family living, in all areas, thinking that freedom is to do whatever one wishes to do. And this is absolutely pathological.
Is there
Can you
a
understand
way?
this?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is, I just wanted to see if Susan had another comment to make before I jumped in, but I think, Claudia, this is one of the real powerful discoveries that Dr. Keppe has found, that we have desires against
Yes.
the true nature you talked about before. This is a shock to most of us, right? The idea that we have bad intentions or that we have a will, that we shouldn't just do what we want, that there's something wrong. This is very strange for us.
Yes, we should do everything and only what is good, beautiful, and truthful. This is what we should do. But in reality, we don't do that. But at least we should know that if we do whatever we want and we please, then the results will be what we are facing in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is science. This is science. You can see this since the children are very young. If you leave them doing whatever they want, they commit suicide very soon.
Yeah. Well, is there something that these parents can do to help their children get to work? I mean, these are kids that have gone through college. They're certainly more than old enough to go to work, in their early 20s already. What should these parents do to help their children at this point?
You know, Susan, children are also a result of a mentality, of worldwide mentality, that work is a burden. Work is a sacrifice. Work is a thing for stupid people. And the true
Reality radio now.
Yeah, the true smart people don't work. They make money while they are sleeping or while they sleep. So everybody's against work, and they can't wait until the day they are going to retire and do nothing.
Start living, real living, as they say, yeah.
Yes, Jones. And then what happens if you retire? When you retire, you get sick very, very rapidly, and you die soon. So we are not meant to be slaves for a sick society and to be exploited by powerful people as we have been so far. But we are born to work for our own good and for our own development and for the development of the society. So society is also wrong and upside down in its concepts. Nobody likes to work. How can I teach my child the value of work if I hate working myself? Even if I say I accept to work, but if I see in work a burden, I will energetically show this to my children, teach them through energy, through psychogenetics, which is another big area to speak later in our radio program.
Well, thank you.
So what's to be done? That we have a big job to do in our world of returning to some important values of work and sacrifice.
We have to become conscious, Jones, that we are enemies of work. Now, that we don't like to work. So this is something important to acknowledge. And it's nonsense just to fight with our children and to tell them something that they are not ready to do if we are not ready to do either. If we don't like to work, our children will not like to work as well. But talking to them and bringing a new concept or the true concept of the value of work to their lives is the only way, because there is no way back for humanity. Now we must live a life with the freedom of consciousness. We must be free, consciously free, in terms of understanding why we do things, in depth, why we do things, why we should do this, why we shouldn't do that. So now we are entering a new phase in humanity.
And part